there's going to be a little bit of pressure as well on the sides involved, including Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, because they've got the Merseyside derby come Monday night. That's live and exclusive on talkSPORT, 8 p.m. kickoff. Taking on Everton, a fixture that they've had so much fun in over the last years, haven't they? God knows how many years it's been. It's just been red. Little bit of blue, but red. It's just been constant Liverpool. They've just been enjoying themselves, having their wicked way with their neighbours. However, after last weekend's results, the neighbours from across Stanley Park, you know what I mean?
Starting to get a little bit louder.
Well, not getting loud. Listen, they've had one result, right? Against the league leaders. Well done to them.
That's a big result.
It's a big result. A little bit of organisation. New manager in charge. He's got them running, which is a key thing. You've got to do a bit of running.
Well, that was the main thing for him. He's obviously come in the door and says, listen, boys.
Yeah.
You got to run.
Do a bit of running.
You got to do the running.
Do a bit of running.
And that was probably the team talk.
Yeah.
And then go out there and run, and they did it.
Yes, they did, and they got the result. And obviously they'll bounce into this game with their tails up, especially off the back of Liverpool and the way that they played last weekend.
I like Sean Dyche though, man. Come on.
Yeah, listen,
who doesn't like Sean Dyche? What a top fella he is. So it's good to see him win games when it was actually not like people weren't even having them on the books to win that game anyway. So it was good to see him win it.
From a Liverpool point of view, good to see Diogo Jota back in training, looking likely to be available for selection. I think he's been a huge miss for Liverpool, as have many other players that they've
You think he's been a huge miss?
Yeah, I do. I really think that...
Is it a huge miss because the others are not at it at the moment?
No, I don't think they've got like for like. I think with losing Mane, they need players that press from... Liverpool need players that press from the front.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, who they got that has been doing that? I know that Nunez runs around a bit, but Jota...
No, but he does press from the front.
Yeah, but Jota's elite at it. I think Jota is very good at it.
He's got the timing right.
Yes.
People that don't know, pressing from the front is actually a skill. You got to get the timing right. You got to set the trap.
You can't go on your own.
You can't just go on your own, and you got to know who's going to be going at the same time as you. And if it's disjointed, the teams usually beat that trap. So they beat the press. And then once that press is beaten, then it's down to the midfield. And if you ain't got the legs in midfield, then it's down to the defence, and then you get caught out. And that's what I'm not saying that's just the whole picture for Liverpool, but it's part of it.
I was having a conversation with a mate of mine this week who's a Liverpool season ticket holder, and we're having a back and forth about certain stuff. And obviously there's banter. I love a bit of banter, especially when it's Liverpool, right? Because my mate, who is a Liverpool fan, he likes to get in my face when Liverpool are doing well. Liverpool are the greatest side that the Premier League has ever seen. And that's what he's been telling me over the last few years and what have you. Jurgen Klopp's the greatest manager that the Premier League's ever seen. And all this type of credit, right? No, he's been giving it me. He's been in my face, he's been giving it me. Now Liverpool aren't doing so well, and there's a little bit of a situation going on with Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp himself. I find it quite amusing to get stuck in on social media and in the old WhatsApp.
You'll have a little go.
Yeah, I'm having a little go. I'm having a little go.
Dig.
But on a serious note, as I look at the Liverpool situation, and then you compare it maybe to the Chelsea situation, which out of the two do you think has the bigger rebuilding ahead of them? Because obviously they're both mid-table. I'm sure they've got aspirations of European football, top 4 football this season. And then further on from that, they'll have aspirations of competing once again for the title. I think that's not going to happen for them this season. I think everybody would agree with that. And there are certain elements from both of those sides that you would look at that obviously need addressing going into a new season next year. Which out of the two do you think has the bigger rebuild ahead of them?
Liverpool, most definitely, Wouldn't you say? I would say Liverpool's got a massive rebuild.
I'm asking you as the expert.
Yeah, but am I an expert on Liverpool? I'm not. I'll have a go. Listen, Liverpool, they've got a lot going on right now. And who's the other team you said? Sorry, Chelsea. So Chelsea's already rebuild. They're doing the rebuild already. They've just spent 600 million. Yeah. So when you look at Chelsea, they're doing their rebuild early. Yeah.
But when you say rebuild, right? Yes, they're throwing money at it. Yes, they're bringing in personnel. You would still think that there's still personnel to get rid of. And you would also think, what is the identity of Chelsea football team?
That will come. But
that's what I mean. Which is the longer, which is the bigger? Are the men in charge going to be the people to do the rebuild? This is what I'm saying.
They're already doing it. So
but is it working? That's what I mean. Will Chelsea stick with Potter? Will Liverpool stick with Klopp?
I don't know about the managerial, but as you're talking about rebuilding, and buying players, Chelsea are already at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how successful is that being?
Well, it's not going to be successful overnight because you've got to get the players in the door first. That's the hard bit.
Yeah.
Now they've got the players. Now,
do they have an identity?
Not just yet, because it's not set. The dust hasn't settled yet. Now, when you go over to Liverpool,
yeah.
Now you see Liverpool now that they haven't even started to get the players in, and where Chelsea have the advantage is they've brought all the players, not most of them, not all of them, but most of the ones they've wanted, and the ones they've got will attract other players, even if they don't get into the Champions League next season, because the other players that are there are top players, and people, and it'll attract other players. Players attract players.
You see, this is my argument with Liverpool.
But let me just finish. But Liverpool, they haven't got anybody of that. They haven't spent no money. They haven't spent the money that Chelsea spent.
I don't think they've got the money that Chelsea have got.
And they won't finish, if they don't finish in that category top 4, they ain't going to be able to attract the same quality of player. So Chelsea have gone early with it and said, you know what, even if we don't finish in the top 4, we still have the players we want, and that should attract other players to believe in the process and the project, as you'd say. What project has Liverpool got at the moment?
It's an interesting question, and I'd love to get the thought on Liverpool fans who are listening to this. 03717 223344. Of course, it's not right at the moment. We know it's not right at the moment. But what are your fears? Because there's conversations, obviously, that the man in charge wants to sell the club, right? So then you're thinking about, well, who comes in? How much money are we going to have? Are we going to have any money? How long is that going to take? Are we going to be in a situation where we can buy players? And if we're in a situation to be able to buy players, how are we going to be able to track players if indeed we do not have Champions League football next season? Of course, you're still in the trophy this year. Got to win the trophy, I think, in order to be in the Champions League next season, because this season's qualification through top 4 is going to be a very, very tough ask. Then what effect does that have on the manager? I think Klopp has got a lot of credit with Liverpool fans. I think he's got a lot of credit with Liverpool Football Club. But will he want to rebuild? Will he want to do it? Now, listen, there's nothing to say that he won't want to do those things. But the proof's in the pudding at the end of the season. You know, will he want to continue that on? Is he the right man to continue that on? Can he rebuild it? Can he get the players in to rebuild and do the things that he wants to do? How concerned are you as a Liverpool fan with the situation right now, and whether you are going to qualify for the Champions League next season, and whether you will be able to attract the players that you need to attract in order to rebuild this side? The answer to rebuilding this side, I think, is relatively easy. The majority of people will look at it and go, midfield. That's what they will go with Liverpool. They know the style of play. They know what Klopp wants to do. They know how they want to play. They know that they've got certain players that fit the Klopp mould, but they don't have the midfield. So I think it's a personnel thing. But can they attract the personnel if they don't hit the Champions League spots? That's a big question, and how concerned are Liverpool fans towards that? Well,
it will have to be just because of the size of Liverpool, like, as a club. Like, people have to look at Liverpool and think, I really want to play for Liverpool. If you understand, to attract the best players. Yeah. Let's say Jude Bellingham, for instance. Let's just talk about Jude Bellingham. Yeah. All right, so now you've got Jude Bellingham, and then you've got the top dogs at Liverpool saying, listen, we've been talking to you for a little while. We want you to be, we're going to build a team around you. Now, that's up to Jude Bellingham now, him and his camp and his agents and his family to decide, okay, if I go there, where am I? There's not going to be Champions League football because they didn't finish. Say they didn't finish in the Champions League football, the Champions League spot that they want to get into. Where is this project going? Yeah. How much money is being put into the club? Yeah. For me to say I'm very confident that we'll get there next year. Yeah. You can't say that because it's unpredictable. They're trying to sell the club. Everything's up in the air at the moment. You go and get Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham doesn't know whether he's got a future there anymore. So he's not going to go to a club like that right at this moment. I wouldn't say that that'd be Liverpool be at the top of his list. Yeah. He'll only be going to Liverpool if he really wants to go and play for Liverpool. Yeah. Not for ambition. Yeah. At the moment. Yeah, not immediate ambition.
I agree with that. I think I think he's got to be a fan. He's got to have some type of emotional connection to it to make the decision to go there as it stands right now.
Especially with the other options he's going to have at his disposal.
He's going to have a lot of options.
Exactly.